If you're considering moving to Frederick, Maryland, but you're just starting your research and you're not sure what the city is all about, then this video is for you because I'm going to go over a full map tour of Frederick, Maryland so you can understand how the city's laid out, where it is in Maryland, what's nearby, and everything you should know before making a move here. So let's just dive right into it. Hey everyone, my name is Eddie and I'm a realtor here in Maryland. And if this is your first time visiting the channel, thank you for being here. I've made it my mission to help people just like you determine the best places to move in Maryland. I give you the market updates, the top neighborhoods, and everything you should know before making a move here. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. All right, so we have the map up over at my desktop here. And first I want to cover where Frederick is in relation to the state itself. So it's kind of in the western central portion of the state. Central Maryland is going to be actually the county to the east, which is Carroll County. Frederick is in what's known as the DC metro region, which is going to kind of extend up this way. And that's the DC metro region. You have this central Maryland is kind of this area here. But Frederick is pretty ideally located for a lot of reasons. It looks like it's far away, but because of the highway systems, it's actually not too far from major cities in the area. So the major ones to cover are obviously Baltimore. That's going to be about an hour to get into downtown Baltimore if you work there. If you want to go into DC, it's about another hour, and this is with no traffic, of course. And if you're looking to go to Fort Meade, which is another major employer in the state, that's going to be about 45 minutes here. And if you want to continue on to Annapolis, just over an hour. That's our state capital. So one other important thing to point out here is that we go by counties here a lot in Maryland. So counties are how we kind of identify where we live. That's because they have a lot of different politics, different ways they operate, different tax systems. So it's important to know that we do take our counties pretty seriously here of where we live. Frederick County is very different than Montgomery County and surrounding counties. So it's very important to know that. And Frederick is a very large county itself. It's with Frederick City in the middle, obviously. So we'll go back to Frederick City here, and we'll go over a couple important locations in the city and around it itself. And first, if you need to fly, I think it's kind of important to know where are the nearby airports. So one of the most popular airports you're going to go to is BWI, and well, we went to arrivals. That's just fine. So just under an hour, about 50 minutes to get to BWI Airport. This is where you're going to find most options to fly. The only downside is sometimes they don't have all of the one-stop flights or direct flights, I should say, to locations. So if you don't have that, you're most likely going to find it at Dulles International Airport, which is about the same distance, 51 minutes. It's almost identical. You're going to probably run into the same amount of traffic either way going to them. So it's more about where you find the deals, where you find the direct flights. That's going to dictate whether you use BWI or Dulles. And you do have a third option, and really you're only going to go here if you find a really sweet deal, and that's Reagan Regional. So Reagan is in DC. I would not drive down 270 to DC and deal with all the traffic down there unless I found a screaming deal out of Reagan, and it's very unlikely that that's going to happen. We've probably only gone out of Reagan once, I think, since living in this area. So that's something to consider. Now, how about what's important in and around Frederick closer by? So obviously you have some towns nearby. Let's get rid of the drive time here. Okay, so we have some major towns nearby, and I'm going to circle them so you know what's actually important. So you have Mount Airy, which is part of it in Frederick County, part of it in Carroll, Howard, and Montgomery. You have Walkersville over here. It's a smaller town just outside of Frederick. You have Woodsboro, even smaller than Walkersville. Myersville, very small area. Same with Boonesboro. These are just kind of country, rural towns. Then you have Middletown, which is kind of somewhere in between. It's more of a historic town, but a ton of farmland, beautiful views out there. You have Jefferson, which there's not really much of a downtown, but it is an up-and-coming area. And then, let's get rid of that. Then Brunswick. Brunswick is they call it the small city, big town. That does have a downtown scene. It's right on the Potomac River. It's got a lot of really cool things going on there. It is up and coming, and I'm making more videos on Brunswick soon. Now, how about the important things you should know about in Frederick City? How is it laid out? Where are the things, like what does it even have here? So I think one of the most important things you should know about Frederick is that there is a hospital in Frederick itself. It is not going to be the biggest in the area, the biggest in the region, but it is important. This is where They have one of the best birthing centers in the area, so people having their babies are going to go here. But it is important to know that it is there. If you're not going to go to Frederick and you need advanced care, a hospital that can handle more serious issues, you're going to be going down south into Montgomery County, into the hospitals. There's multiple hospitals along the 270 corridor, and obviously down in DC, some very large hospitals. And if you, one of the best hospitals in the entire country, typically ranked number one, is Johns Hopkins over in Baltimore, on the west side of Baltimore here. So if worst case, you're an hour to that if you need advanced care. So it's important to know that. And how about the other things in the area? Well, right next to Frederick Health Hospital is Hood College. This is a private college, really cool campus, right outside of the west side of downtown. It's cool to walk around. If you live in the area, walk through the path. So that's there. And then you do have Frederick Community College. So you have two colleges in town. Community College is a little farther north. So we had Hood College down to the south here. Where are we? Here you go. Hood College down here. And you have Frederick Community College up farther north. Also, really great campus, great community college nearby. And also, Frederick has its own minor league baseball. So they have the Frederick Keys Stadium. I think it's still called Nimio Field. It is. On the south side of town, this is a fun place to go. When they have games, they almost always have fireworks on their weekend games. It's just a good time. It's cheap to get in. They're a good team. And there's actually two minor league teams here now. The Frederick Keys, and I'm forgetting the name of the new one. It's kind of a goofy name, but they just added it in the last year. Oh, Ghost Hounds. There you go. Spire City Ghost Hounds. So really cool to go to games, easy to get in, great food actually, and then fireworks most nights. So that's pretty cool. You also have a fairgrounds in Frederick as well. Frederick Fairgrounds, really popular. They bring in a lot of great artists for their annual fair. A lot of great events here throughout the year. So it's a cool place to be. This is where the Oktoberfest is going to be every year. So that's right outside of the east side of downtown. And then also something really important to note is there is a small municipal airport in Frederick itself. This is going to be your private planes, smaller jets, and mostly your Cessna smaller prop planes that are flying around here. So these are important to know, the main locations in Frederick. Now, I think it's also important to know that there are 4 main zip codes in Frederick, and they all kind of operate differently. So there's 21701, which is this northeast side. This includes downtown. This is also one of the more expensive zip codes, but not the most. It includes major important neighborhoods like Spring Ridge, one of the most popular neighborhoods in Frederick, and Warmans Mill, another very popular neighborhood. And if you could see here, Frederick zip codes sprawl out to the east. This is something really important to point out here. Look at that zip code, and then look what happens when I type in Frederick, Maryland. It gets rid of it, right? You're tempted to think Frederick is just this small area here, right in this way, but it really extends up in here, not all the way up to Woodsboro there, but very close. So, let me get rid of this. So once you start researching here, it is so important that you realize that if you're typing in Frederick itself, you're not getting the full picture. You have 21701, which extends way up here. You also have 21702, and it's going to move counterclockwise here. See how high up that goes, how far north that goes in the 21702 zip code. Then you have 21703 down here to the south, going almost all the way to Point of Rocks. So big. I mean, Frederick is sprawling. And then you have 21704, which is the most popular zip code. This includes Urbana, the most popular neighborhood in Frederick, also one of the most pricey neighborhoods due to its south location, the schools there, which made plenty of videos about Urbana that you can check out. So that's really important to know that Frederick is sprawling here. You need to know that there are so many locations to shop within Frederick itself. Now, how about downtown? Like if you're coming to visit, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? Well, let's zoom in here and just figure this out. So for the sake of making it easy, I'm just going to get rid of the map here. All right, so Frederick is a true city. It has downtown streets, it has blocks, it has one-way streets, so it is important to know that. The most popular street in Frederick is called Market Street, and Market Street is right here in the middle. Oh, almost got it all. Market Street, and a good portion of it has shops, restaurants, local artists, a lot of really great things right downtown. I mean, West Patrick and East Patrick Street, where they meet here, is one of the hottest spots in the entire downtown area. If we go in here, this is where it's all happening in Frederick. You have the old banks. One of them was just made into a cool venue. Just a lot of really cool stuff downtown. You walk the streets. If you go on a weekend, it's going to be packed with people. So that is one thing to know, is Market Street is where everything is happening here. Now, let's go out here. What about other places that you're going to visit? So you come to visit, you're going to check out downtown, you're going to check out Market Street. Then you're going to probably check out Carroll Creek Linear Park. Really cool walkway along Carroll Creek, which they've turned into. They actually built a creek over top of the former creek to help prevent flooding issues, but just a really cool area. I mean, look at this. Both sides are paved. It's where a majority of the events are in Frederick. This is something called Sailing Through the Winter Solstice, where they put really cool lit boats in the water, usually November through February or March. Just such a cool downtown scene here. I mean, there's koi fish in there, there's cool bridges. It's just a very awesome place to check out. Here's a good view here. So Carroll Creek is another really hopping area. So it's going to be Market Street, Carroll Creek, and that's going to give you a really good feel of Frederick here. Okay, so let's pop back out here. A couple other places that you need to know about. Baker Park. So just on the west side of downtown, you have Baker Park. It's like the Central Park of Frederick. It is huge. It looks kind of skinny here, but it's huge. Really cool place to check out. This is where there's going to be events. There's an amphitheater, this cool clock tower that is functional. Color Lake is here. Just a lot of really awesome places you want to go and walk around. There's paths all around it. So it's one of our favorite places to go when it's nice outside, walk around Baker Park. And the cool thing about here, this is the amphitheater here. The cool thing about Baker Park is on the outskirts of Baker Park, the houses are beautiful. You have Tudor style homes, old colonial style homes. They are a little pricey as well, but it would be so cool to live just on the outside of Baker Park. I think most people that love that historic charm of Frederick would love to live on the outskirts of Baker Park. So that is kind of the quick rundown. Now here's an example. Look at that. So these houses, you don't see any Tudors yet, but they're beautiful homes out on the outskirts of Baker Park here. Just really traditional style. And then you have Baker Park right out your front door. I mean, how cool is that? So that's the basics of how Frederick is laid out. Now, if you're looking to move here, there are some neighborhoods that you need to know about. So I mentioned a couple of them already, but I'll just start up top with Warmans Mill. Warmans Mill does include Mill Island. There's technically a creek that cuts it off and makes it a true island per se. So that's kind of cool. This is a really popular place to live. There's a whole community center in the middle of this. Mill Island just has its own unique style. There's French style homes here and just really cool places. There's actually homes where they are surrounded, or they're around a block, which is different. You never see this anywhere in Maryland, where you pull in and everyone kind of has this courtyard, I should say, that they pull in to get to their home. It's a really cool area right on the Monocacy River. There's a path that goes through there. So the Monocacy River Bridge, just really awesome. The bridge, that's a cool little train that goes nearby. So cool neighborhood, really popular to move to on the north side of Frederick. Just before you get into Walkersville, you also have a ton of shopping and dining, which we'll get to in a minute. I'm going to go over the shopping and dining. You have Tuscarora Creek up north, which is a newer community. They're still doing construction on the east side with townhouses and single-family homes. Tuscarora Creek East here. Beautiful homes, actually, that are being built by DRB Homes. They have amenities that include pools, paths, walkways, a lot of cool stuff there. And then, these are important communities you need to know about. Clover Hill, you have a very established single-family home community in the center of Frederick. You have the Lake Whittier community. They do have a lake, and it's condos, single families, townhomes, really established community. You have a newer community by Keystone Custom Homes called Kellerton. Very popular right now. A lot of people moving there, still building new construction. All right. And then you have, we're going to move a little farther down here. It's not listed on here, but this is called Sycamore Ridge, this new construction community here. We'll zoom in, building single-family homes and townhouses by Ryan Homes. And one thing I did not cover while we're here, while we're in this area, is Fort Dietrich. How did I miss this? A major employer in the area. U.S. Army has this. It's where their medical research labs are, where they research diseases, viruses, everything biological, chemical, weapons. They research it there. So that's pretty much right outside the center of town. And okay, moving on down here, you have the towns at Gambrel Glen. On the south side, a townhouse community being built by K. Hovnanian Homes. And then this is the area I want to cover the most. So the Golden Mile is kind of an infamous area of Frederick. It is an older area of Frederick, and I'm going to circle what this entails. This is kind of the Golden Mile area here. It runs along Route 40. It is a major commercial retail area, and it's one of the major areas to go for shopping, dining. It's where your furniture stores are. You have dealerships out there. But the thing about this area is that a lot older homes, a lot more established. But there are some new communities being built there, including Bel Air by Ryan Homes, which should be right up in here. So a lot going on there. Now, you also have more established neighborhoods as well down south, a huge neighborhood called Ballinger Creek. Actually, this is a community, I would say, with multiple neighborhoods. Very popular place to move to. Actually, really affordable pricing compared to places in the different zip codes over to the east, like 21701 and 21702. So more affordable over here, which is great. They also are centered around a major commercial retail area right on Buckystown Pike. Here you're going to have, again, Home Depots, Lowe's, Walmarts, all kinds of shopping, dining. You have all of your hotels in town in this Ballinger Creek area here. So if you're coming to visit, if you're not in an Airbnb, you'll very likely, let me get rid of that, very likely be in these hotels in this general area. That's where your movie theater is, up in the Westview Promenade. But again, very popular neighborhood at Ballinger Creek down here. And then you have Urbana, which I spoke about before. Urbana it should be its own town. It really acts like its own town. It's totally separate from the rest of Frederick. If you look, it's far down to the south there. So it's really down here. But this neighborhood is really hot. Very few condos here. It's a lot of townhouses, single family homes, higher price point because they have the high school, they have the middle school right in here, 2 elementary schools. So a lot going on here. Brand new section was just built in the past few years called Stone Barn here. And this community is huge. It's popular. They have parks nearby. I mean, this is one of the places I always go. I live nearby, but I'm always in Urbana. I mean, there's restaurants that just have gone in recently, some local favorites already. Everything you really need is right in Urbana. So you don't even, if you live there, you don't have to go outside to Frederick unless you really want to. So that's important to know. Then I mentioned this before too, but Spring Ridge, very established community here on the east side of Frederick, just 10 minutes outside of downtown, and very popular place to move to. Great community culture there. All right. And then we are working our way back up to Warmans Mill. So you have Dearborn and one called Waterside right on this top section here. Established communities as well in Frederick. So that's the basic rundown. Now, it is important to know that Frederick is growing immensely. They're growing every single day. So there's a lot of development to happen in Frederick in the near future. And where I'm seeing the most development potential is going to be on the east side of Frederick. And this is something they call the East Street corridor up here. It's around East Street. And there's actually an organization called East Frederick Rising that's tracking all the projects out here. I'm sorry, I forgot one neighborhood down in here. How could I forget? One of my favorite communities, Wren Quarter. They don't have it listed. That's why it's not on Google Maps yet. Wren Quarter, up and coming. It's about probably 2/3 of the way complete at this point. Townhouses, single family homes. And the cool part about this neighborhood is that this whole park area here is going to be an almost 80-acre park that the city's going to complete for them that will connect right down here to Carroll Creek, that linear park we talked about. It's going to be amazing. It's going to have a 5K trail in here, dog park, tennis courts. It's going to be really awesome. And while we're at it, how did I forget? East Church is another popular community. This completed about a year ago now by, I think it was Warmold, completed the last homes, and just a really cool community as well. Not as easy access to downtown through like walking paths there, but you do have sidewalks into downtown. So that's really cool there. Now, this is not a complete list of Frederick. This is just the basics of what you need to know. If you want to know what you should do in a weekend, I've made a video that I'll link above where you can check out what to do in 24 hours in Frederick to make the best use of your time, recommendations for coffee shops, restaurants, and all that. But if you're considering moving here, please reach out to me. That's what I'm here for, is to guide you in the process. And the best way to do that is to go in the description and the link below to schedule a one-on-one consultation with me. Whether that's 2 weeks away or 2 years away, it's never too soon to hop on a call and get that plan together so you're fully prepared when the time does come. And I will go into detail into the areas that you're interested in. And again, I can't cover it all here. These are the basics, a basic rundown of Frederick, how it's laid out, where the neighborhoods are. There is so much more to cover, which I also cover in my other videos about developments and neighborhoods. Please go make sure to watch those as well. And as always, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe so you stay updated on all of my videos about moving to Maryland.